Phantom Dust is one of my favorite games ever made, yet the sad irony is that this is the exact game Microsoft needs today. Unfortunately, they released it about 20 years too early. Microsoft has spent over $70 billion buying all these game companies. It's funny, because Microsoft has a lot of properties that they made over the years. They just left them to die. One of them being Phantom Dust. It's truly unique, and let's take a look at this. When Phantom Dust came out, it first launched in Japan as an exclusive. Then Microsoft decided not to release it here in the States. Xbox didn't really have an identity yet. It was just Halo and waiting for Halo 2, and then online shooters. So to have a game that's an RPG, a heavy storyline game, card battle, real-time strategy, all this mixed into one, it was just kind of bizarre, but that's what helped made it so cool. It still stands out because of all those features. There's games with elements of all this, but nothing exactly like Phantom Dust today. To play the game, all you need to know is everything is a skill. Attack, defense, and everything in between, it's all a skill. Skills look like this. They look like these little round little orb things, right? You see like these RNG red ones, that's attack, blue, that's defense. These are called aura particles. That's basically your energy. To do anything in the game, to do any attack, any defense, anything, you need to have aura particles. When you stand on a skill, it will tell you how many particles you need to use that skill. The twist is you build an arsenal, known as basically like a deck of cards. You get to select what skill goes in that arsenal. But once you get into a battle, you have no idea which of those skills are going to pop up. The map loads, you spawn, and then whatever skills line up in your area, all the skills that pop up, they're from your arsenal, but they're picked at random. You don't get to choose. You don't get to pick whatever skill to begin. It chooses for you. So you better know the ins and outs of your arsenal if you want to have a chance to win the battle. There's a bunch of different kinds of classes. You'll see melee focused things. You see short range, medium, long range, lasers, swords, elemental, weird psychic things I don't know how to describe. You will see all of those. And you get to pick what you want. You get to have arsenals that focus on one class or up to two. Every single battle you complete, you progress the storyline, but you get credits and usually a skill. So as you keep playing, you get more stuff to build better and newer arsenals, which allows you to have more interesting battles offline and online. Everything you do in the single player story mode carries into the multiplayer and vice versa. Plus you get to listen to this awesome music when you're building an arsenal. I've spent many of my middle school years just listening to this on loop. Speaking of the music, this game has fantastic music. Some of it is classical compositions from Frédéric Chopin, some of it's original music, but a lot of it has this interesting distortion effect or just kind of weird ambiance behind it. Look at this level, for example. This one's like a shopping mall, but it's old, decrepit, kind of run down. You hear elements of what would be music through like a mall PA system, right? But it just sounds off. It gives you signs of what life used to be, but as well as what it is now. It really adds to the mood of the game. Just like the gameplay, this has its own look as well. It stood out in the official Xbox magazine. That's how I found out about this game. This was in an issue of official Xbox magazine. I've never seen it before. I'm looking at pictures of it on paper, but it looked unique even that way. Xbox Live back then isn't what it is today, and internet speeds weren't the same as they are today. So when we got Xbox Magazine, it came with a demo disc, and I will remember demo disc number 38. You hold both triggers on the main screen of the disc. Click a button. Just keep playing around, and then you're going to feel the controller starts to vibrate. If you type in the code correctly, it would unlock a special hidden demo of Phantom Dust in Japanese. The game came out in Japan, but we didn't get it. But we had a demo. Why do we have a demo for a game we weren't getting? 2005, out of the blue, it just showed up on shelves. Majesco, of all people, ended up publishing the game out here in the West, even though it's a Microsoft game. Somebody else picked up the pieces and brought us to the finish line. So even back in the 2000s, Microsoft still screwed everything up. Anyway, back to the combat. As you play the game, you'll find out how you like to play. Do you like to be up close and personal? Do you like to be medium range? Do you just like to fuck with people and just change the environment and delete skills on people so they have to scramble? You can kind of play the game how you want to, and then as you play and you find your tastes, build the arsenal the way you want it to be. It gives you the freedom. With that freedom, it does take time. You have to dedicate time to this game to get the most out of it. But if you're willing to give it the time it asks for, it's going to give you a really, really deep, personal, unique experience. This is one of those games I'm just always going to remember it from the day I got it till now. This is actually the same case I got when it came out in early 2005. I went to a GameStop to pick up Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. And then I just saw this and I was like, wait, what? This is an Xbox exclusive. Never came out on PlayStation 2, never came out on Windows at the time. You could only play it on the Xbox. Here's where it gets more messed up.
Design. Great design is what we should be looking for when we're deciding what games we should build. So I'm honored to be up here on the stage today to announce, well, let's just watch the trailer.
Like a decade ago, Microsoft announced at an E3 a remake of Phantom Dust, and all three of us fans were ecstatic, and it was going to be incredible, and then Microsoft canceled it. Because apparently it was going to be a remake of the full game, but they didn't actually give the developers the budget to make the full game. So the developer said, hey bro, we can do it, but you have to give us a little bit more money. And Microsoft said, cool, canceled. So there goes that. But they did do an HD remaster of Phantom Dust for current Xbox platforms and Windows. It's still available today. It's still free to play. Xbox One, Series S, X, and Windows. So you can play this right now. This was such a cool game that came out back in the day. This is exactly what we need to see Xbox do today. Look at how different this is compared to everything else Microsoft has done for Xbox in almost a decade. You know all the jokes. There's nothing to play except Halo and Forza and Gears, maybe Fable until they cancel Fable, right? We know all the jokes. This is something truly different. The most infuriating thing about Phantom Dust is this is the perfect game for Xbox today. Instead, they decided to make this brilliant game 20 years ago when Xbox didn't have a vision, there wasn't a real identity yet, and they were just trying to find what worked. And this was an incredible game. Microsoft was trying to find what worked for Xbox in the early 2000s. Halo 1 worked, so they were just waiting for Halo 2 and focusing on online multiplayer games. That was Xbox's identity at that time. Phantom Dust really didn't fit the mold. And that's what's so sad about Phantom Dust, is today, this is the kind of game that the system and the platform needs. We need to see something more other than Halo, Gears, and Forza. The most absurd part is Phantom Dust is just one of multiple franchises that Microsoft could bring back, but they won't ever touch them again. Instead of using what they already have, Microsoft has a track record now of buying studios up, using their talent, using their properties, eventually discarding all of it. It's sad. It really is. Unfortunately, they spent so much money on Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, and all these other companies that Xbox needs a return on its investment. And small games like Phantom Dust or Hi-Fi Rush and other things like that just won't cut it anymore. I don't think we're going to see Microsoft take risks anymore. Which is kind of sad, because that's what the game industry is really missing. There's nothing wrong with Call of Duty or Halo or FIFA. Those games have their place, but we don't get anything that fresh outside of the indie scene. And I love indies, but it would be good to see a big company like Microsoft try something different. They used to. I wish they would go back and give it another shot. But I think those days are long gone.